Good afternoon, YouTubers. T-Square here with T-Square Talks. Hope everybody's having a great day. I had a bunch of people ask me a little bit about, what's going on with the baby chickens. So I'm about ready to throw them some food again. I actually fed them earlier, but I wanted to put a little bit more out here to kind of get them to come out so you guys can see what hatched out. I had 16 of them hatch, and of those 16, I actually had 3 of them die. Unfortunately, due to one of natural causes, 2 some kind of attack. Don't know really what caused it yet. I've had to tweak up stuff just a little bit, kind of putting a little bit of food out here to get them out a little bit more, though you guys can kind of see them. We're going to talk a little bit about the chickens. We're going to talk a little bit about some different stuff going on. I had a lot of people ask me, why did I slow down on making YouTube videos? For a while, I was doing a video every day. My old schedule, I was doing about 3 videos a week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I kind of slowed down because I had a medical thing that I'm kind of dealing with right now. I don't believe it's anything serious because of my age. However, the doctor is a little bit worried, my personal doctor, so it's required me to go to a bunch of lab works and a bunch of checkups, I guess you could say, and a very personal checkup, I guess you could say, coming up down the road. That, and then on top of that, with YouTube, essentially, it seems like they kind of slowed down. When I ramped up, I kind of got knocked down a peg with them, which was really surprising. Some of my videos just having very few views, which was way under what I average. So it kind of discouraged me a little bit, and so I ended up going back down to my 3 or 4 days a week, just shooting my videos, more back on the kind of my schedule and less on a guarantee you got to put up a video every day. So first thing first, we'll talk a little bit. I don't really try to mix my videos on different topics. However, since I'm just sitting outside, it's a nice evening, it's cool out. I figure we'll touch base on a few different things. What's going on with silver, what's going on with gold, what's going on with the chickens, the gardening. In short, the garden, we had a really weird lack of bees this year. For some reason, it seemed like a lot of my stuff didn't pollinate, especially my corn. My corn, the ears came out kind of messed up. Now that's all right, because any corn that came up, I can automatically shift to the chickens, even being that they're little like this. As you can see, they do love the corn. As you can see here, there's another ear back here. I just gave them about 4 or 5 ears of corn, and they will beat it up. They'll eat it, and that's good for them, and it's good for me because I didn't pay to, it just grew by itself. My corn got really tall, but because of all my appointments that I've been having to deal with lately, I've slacked off on the garden itself too. And that's all right, because honestly, looking at stuff right now, it doesn't look like anything is going to fall apart in the system today. A lot of this stuff is more about preparing. So someone out there might say, oh, so you grew the garden for nothing. I didn't grow it for nothing because, at the end of the day, I'm probably going to have, maybe 10, 15, 20 pounds of tomatoes, of which I can give away, I can eat. Corn, all my corn will pretty much shift to the chickens. It looks like I'm going to have some squash, some zucchini. Other than that, that's about the sum of what I got. The cucumbers, unfortunately, none of the cucumbers really did well. And now the garden is just kind of essentially falling by the wayside. We got lucky and we got a lot of water this year, which made it to where stuff grew really well and tall and big. My corn, literally the stalks got up to 10 feet tall. Let's see if there's a way I can pause this and kind of show you guys real quick. So as you guys can see, this is literally my garden area. My corn, everything's kind of been overgrown, but we have had a ton of corn. You can see I've already been trampling it down, but I've let a lot of stuff go, like I've said, because of everything being, I have to go to the doctors so much lately. A lot of tomatoes, you know, I got to walk through here a little bit. I know some people might be like, how come you haven't been weeding it? With everything going on, I just haven't been. But I'm going to come through here. I'm going to pick a lot of these tomatoes in another day or two. You can see a lot of tomatoes starting to kind of come up in here, little cherry tomatoes. And then as I walk back here, normally this is a chicken coop. However, it's definitely fallen by the wayside right now. My compost area, the chicken coop area, more tomatoes in here. I'm probably going to come in here and tear some of this down here within the next day or two, as I do want to see how the tomatoes are starting to come up. You can see a lot of tomato plants mixed in here. And we're starting to see a lot of flowers. But unfortunately, the bees in this area have pretty much been wiped out. I mean, look at the corn. Here, let's see if we can get an ear of this corn. Take this off. I'll kind of show you guys what I'm talking about here in just a minute. In a second here. Then we're going to go back to the chickens and stuff, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And I'm going to show you guys what happened with the corn, if I can get this open here. So that's the corn that we got. Is it edible? Yes, you could eat it. However, when you get this, like it's missing little meat pieces and stuff, it's not going to hurt you if you eat it. Do I want to eat it? No. Only because I can buy ears of corn at the grocery store right now, relatively inexpensive. So it's not a big deal. They'll come back out in a minute. So, as you can see, just, you know, this, when you have missing stuff like that, a lot of that has to do with fertilization, because these were nice. They had nice plump kernels. That's usually a good sign of it had plenty of water. In the past, I have ran into not getting enough water for them. When that happens, that can actually be bad, because you just don't get the full growth on the corn, which is a downer. So now that we've talked a little bit that, we'll talk a little bit about the chickens, what's going on. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the prepping aspect. Chickens, a lot of y'all know I had my food. There was something with the food. A majority of my chickens passed away this past winter. I shot a video, but I didn't piece it together because I didn't know if it was something that I messed up on or if it was something else. I later found out that everybody's chickens were essentially stopped laying eggs and started basically passing away. Didn't know why they were passing away. If it was me, I had some friends joke that I didn't know how to raise them and this and that. So I didn't really want to show too much of that because I didn't know if it was me. I later found out that there was an issue with the food coming from Tractor Supply. I looked on the Purdue webpage, and they claim that they sold the company. They outsourced their chicken food to another company, and therefore it wasn't their fault. It was an issue, but they don't know what it was. To me, it was a lot of sketchiness coming from that. I don't really know. If you free-ranged your chickens out in the wild, then you probably didn't have a problem with it. But if you did keep them cooped up and fed them, then a lot of people were having them either die or quit laying eggs. It was kind of a downer. When I got all the way down to 6, I kind of gave up on them. And in the last couple days, I decided, you know what, I ran out of food. I was giving them away to someone that was going to eat them. And essentially, I stopped feeding them. Only to find out that the day the guy came to pick them up, I had 5 eggs. And I said, what the heck? I stopped feeding them, and all of a sudden they want to start laying eggs. Well, because I left them to fend for themselves, eating bugs and stuff from nature, they went back to laying eggs. If I had known it was going to play out that way, but I had already told the person they could have them, and I was going to start fresh. Now, these right here came from my Farm Innovators incubator. I ended up going to a friend's. I asked her for a bunch of eggs. I filled it up. This is my incubator that was about 6 or 7 years old. So I only got 16 chickens out of it, which was about a 50% hatch rate overall. Now, 50% hatch rate is fairly lower. But a lot of it has to do with it was an old incubator. It's been banged around a lot. I'm still super happy with Farm Innovators. I don't 100% know what kind of chickens these are. I believe there's 2 different types. Originally, there was about 5 different types of eggs that I put in here. I only had 2 tan ones that were of a different breed. And unfortunately, one of them was a runt and did not really grow to be full size. And then one ended up somehow getting eaten by an attack. And then the other one was a big gray one, kind of like this. So with that being said, I think it's important that we have eggs and chickens at your house or on your homestead. And the reason being, come this winter, which is more what I want to prepare for, the winter months, I've always said I don't think we'd ever see a problem in the summer months, because the summer months, we get a lot of food from Mexico. We get a lot of food just being grown. It's more the winter months, because we had the attack on our food processing facilities. And whether you want to call it an attack or a bad stroke of luck, we had a lot of issues happening that was taking its toll on the ability to process a lot of our food and can it, which makes storage a bit more of a problem. However, in the summer months, a lot of people can grow gardens. There's a lot of options that you have that you don't necessarily have in the winter months. So I still believe that being prepped up and ready for whatever in the winter months is a big thing. In the summer months, depending on where you are, I would be more prepared too. I'm down here on the Texas coast. So down here in the San Antonio, Houston, Corpus area, you run the risk of hurricanes, especially the coastal cities, and that can cause problems. I was in Hurricane Harvey at ground zero in Rockport, Texas at one point, and then other people along the Gulf had problems too. So being prepped and secure and having what you need, you never know what will happen. That you'll need something. I got my dog just sitting here watching what's going on too. I don't always trust him. He just sits there and just looks, almost like he wants to eat them. I think he might have been the one that ate the 2, but I can't prove it. I have caught him before years ago. Okay, go lay down. But I can't prove it right now, so I don't want to get too mad at him. I don't know. It'd be tough. They kind of would have to escape through the cage in order for something bad to happen. And right now, once I put the wrap around it, I also put another fence, a chicken fence around this, just to kind of keep stuff pushed back a little bit. Okay, so let's talk precious metals now. What's going on with precious metals? Some of you guys that follow the channel, so if you follow the channel for chickens or homesteading, unless you just want to watch the chickens at this point, probably pretty much done talking about the chickens unless something comes up. The question that will come up on gold and silver. What's going on with gold and silver? Why have I slowed down on my purchases? Okay, so we've seen spot price start slowly coming down. We're potentially about ready to come up on a major recession. With a recession, precious metals, I believe, will be affected. Will I see the price come down? I don't know. Will I see the spot price come down? I think there's a possibility we could see the spot price continue to slowly inch down. Not fast. We're not going to see any major drops, I don't believe. I believe that we could see a quarter or 50 cents a week just slowly creep down. If you're in a position where you don't have much for precious metals, then I'll be honest, if I was in that position, I would just say, you know what, I'm just going to bite the bullet and buy. If you're in the position where you already have what you think is an adequate amount of gold and silver and you can afford to wait it out, then I would consider trying to wait and bypass a week or two. Here's some things, though, that could happen. If we default on the federal deficit, that could cause major issues and skyrocket the price of silver and gold. However, do I think we'll default before the end of this month? No, which means we still got about 2 weeks to go roughly. With that being said, I'm going to push it and kind of keep monitoring the situation. If I get to a point where, hey, I'm putting in a big back up the truck buy order, I'll definitely go live and talk to you guys a little bit about it and tell you guys what I think and why I did what I did. However, there's a few options you got to consider. I don't want to end up buying now. Here's the thing. Do I think silver still has the potential to go to $50 or higher? Absolutely. But do I want to pay $30 on silver right now when I know I already have some and potentially see it go down to 29 or 28? No, I don't. So that's why I've decided to kind of hold back. I'm going to tell you guys my honest opinion. I'm not going to tell you guys what's best for the bullion dealers. I know there are some bullion dealers and some sponsored channels that are sponsored by bullion dealers that are going to tell you buy. The sky's falling, and if you don't get it now, they're going to run out. And on one hand, do I think prices could skyrocket fast? Yes. And on the other hand, do I think they could run out? No, I don't think anybody's going to run out, because the truth of the matter is price will decide everything. If the price skyrockets, you don't think that there'll be people selling? I mean, I've been contemplating honestly selling all my metals if it would get me the purchase that I'm specifically looking at. One of two purchases. One of the purchases would be something that has to do, a business that has to do with entertainment, which if society keeps trucking along and I'm in a good enough area that we don't feel the blow as hard if we hit a recession, I would give up everything and slowly start stacking again. On the flip side, will I ever totally get out of it? I don't see myself ever totally getting out of bullion. If I sell my bullion, it's to buy a money-making asset and essentially be able to buy it and, put a big bunch down. I'm going to go right back to putting in my orders weekly. Right now, I don't have any pressure on buying because I feel like I've got a bunch or enough that I'll be all right. And we'll see what happens. At the end of the day, will a dollar make a difference? If you don't have any, I wouldn't worry about $1 or $2 more. If you've got a bunch, then I would try to consolidate your pricing down and just think about what's going on. The big things coming up, end of the month, possible default on June 1st. July, possible CBDC info coming out, phase 1 of central bank digital currencies. August, huge BRICS summit with Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and approximately 20-something other countries that want to join them, with the most interesting one being Saudi Arabia, who sells oil in dollars, and how that could be a big game changer for us. Will it be the end of the world for us? It will not be the end of the world for us. However, if something major happens, you could see all those countries that are holding dollars send their dollars back to the U.S. and essentially see prices of goods skyrocket in value. And if that happens, a dozen eggs to $5-6 will be nothing. And that's why I think it's good to be prepared for that type of stuff. I've never gone wrong prepping, buying a little extra food, learning how to preserve some of them foods, some of the staple ingredients, learn how to preserve your rice for long term, learn how to preserve your macaroni and cheese or pastas for long term, oats, barley, whatever types of stuff you use on a regular basis. Flour, I hear some people say, oh, you can't preserve flour, you can't preserve sugar, you can pretty much preserve anything if you want to, especially the more raw the item, the better chance you have of preserving it. And here's the thing, even if you can't preserve everything, think about if you need popcorn seeds and you have to go buy some popcorn seeds, and all of a sudden popcorn seeds are $2-3 a bag. And you have the opportunity now to get them for $1 a bag or $1.25 a bag. I just bought 15-20 bags at $1.25 a bag. It was a good deal. They were on sale, and I wanted to load up on them. So, you know, stuff like that, it saves me money. I've got some friends that tell me, you know, oh, well, whoop-de-doo, you saved $1 or you saved a quarter or 50 cents. It's not that big of a deal. Those 50 cents, those bucks, they all add up. The more you can be more sufficient on your own, the better off you'll be. It's a lot to think about in that. You know, I had someone tell me that it's weird that I save my rainwater to water my gardens or to water my chickens, you know, to put it in the coop, that type of stuff. You know, it does seem weird that I do it. However, the thing to consider is it all adds up. All those dollars add up. If you save $1 a day, that's an ounce of silver a month. That's 12 ounces of silver at the end of the month. And you being able to save $1 a day should be pretty easy. I mean, to me, it's easy to save easily $30 a week off your bills, most likely. One less trip to the store saves you gas money, saves you mileage. Combine your trips. Try to knock out, you know, your grocery shopping on a day you're coming back from work. You're tired. You probably don't want to do it, but you want to save a little bit of money. Try to find ways to feed your chickens. Maybe not as much high-protein food, such as the actual chicken feed that costs a lot more money. Try to give them rice and beans. I actually watched one channel. They feed their chickens rice beans saturated in water, and they cook it, and then they let it sit, and it absorbs all that water, and they are full. When they eat a bowl of that rice and beans, they are plump, and you know, so see what happens. Mow your own lawn. A lot of different little things you can do to try to save a little bit of money where you can. So I'm a firm believer in that. I'm a firm believer in stacking. Putting your money, your wealth in your hands. Do I suggest people making a huge run on the bank? I'm not going to tell you, hey, pull all your money out of the bank. Banks are going under. I don't even know if I believe that. You guys know I have safety deposit boxes. Do I hold a lot of money in my bank account? I would not say I hold tons. I have some in there. Unfortunately, the world works in dollars right now, so you have to pay in fiat currency. And with that being said, there's not many huge ways around that. It's just stuff that you've got to work with. However, you can use the fiat currency while you're playing the game, and you can save in precious metals. I'm not a big fan of bank account savings because those savings accounts, they don't pay you much in interest. I mean, look at how much they charge. I know someone right now that just went and applied for a car loan. 8.5%. That was the best rate they could get, and that was the lowest possible rate. That was with a 1.5 point back because of long-term account, good standing, decent credit, all that stuff. With that being said, 8.5%, to me, that is a little bit ridiculous when they don't even pay you 3%, 4% maybe. So it's, you know, when you think about it, I love watching these guys eat the ears of corn. You know, and I might actually shift this down just a little bit so you can get a little bit closer to them. It's really fun watching them, seeing how they pick at this stuff and just what they do when they're out running around. They literally will gobble down on ears of corn quite a bit. With that being said, that's going to be it for today. I expect I might do a small envelope opening because somebody had sent me an envelope with their channel sticker. I may end up trying to get that opened up on Thursday or Friday. I expect I'll do another good video probably on Saturday because Saturday is a good day for people to watch videos. I hope people remember that we are going to have a giveaway at some point this month, so keep your eyes open for that. Everybody that had prizes, their prizes did go out to them. Some of them already got them and they've emailed me, and some I haven't heard back yet, but I assume they got them because the tracking says they got them. With that being said, please hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, leave me a comment, let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys like the chickens. I'm pretty excited. It's a great little batch. I may end up doing another batch. I don't know. Like I said, I'll know more when these get a little bit bigger and I can separate out who's a rooster, who's a hen. I would have liked to have a dozen hens, but I don't think that's going to happen now because I'm down to 13, and there is almost no way that I've got 12 hens here. But I don't know what. I'm expecting I'll have probably 6 and 7. Hopefully it's 7 females, but we'll see how it plays out. With that being said, please hit the like, the subscribe if you're not subscribed, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think of this video. If you guys have any questions, anything you want to know about or you want to see, definitely let me know. I love hearing y'all's comments. And take care. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week.